hand the meeting over to Vicky, who's going to share on step 3. Over to you.
Thanks, Roz. I'm Vicky, I'm an addict.
Hi, Vicky.
When Roz asked me to do this chair, I was like, yeah, I love step 3, it's my favourite step. And today I'm driving up here thinking, what the fuck do I know about step 3? I hate step 3, and yeah, it's just that kind of my head, I've got that negative. I don't feel very connected, if I'm honest, and I think when I don't feel connected, I kind of go into that self-doubt and start criticising myself, and I've sort of been like that for the last few weeks. I have kind of upped my meetings since then, but it ain't changed yet. And listening to that and saying about, and you know, and I've heard it throughout recovery, you know, it's all right making a decision, but we have to put that decision into action. And I remember someone saying about the, you know, 3 pigeon or 3 birds on a perch, and one decides to fly away, how many are left on the perch? And there's 3 because he's only made the decision to fly away, he hasn't. And that sort of, when I heard that, it made sense, because I was one of these that come into recovery and didn't get the literature. I didn't understand the language. I didn't understand powerlessness. I didn't understand my will, God's will. I just didn't, that weren't, you know, I'm from Peckham, we don't talk like, oh, hang on, I'm going to just hand my will over. You know, the dealer will turn up, if I just trust in the, you know, that weren't, I had to come in here and learn from scratch. And so it was like, the longer they stay around, the longer I kind of get the message. I suppose, you know, I could go on about the chaos and all that. I'm not, you know, I've had the last 3 years, I'll be 25 years in March on St Patrick's Day. And there's a reason I got clean on St Patrick's Day. I got clean on the 9th of... I'm going to go on a tangent now. I got clean on the 9th of February 2001, and then I relapsed on the 16th of March 2001, but didn't tell no one, right? So I got up on St Patrick's Day, and it was my nan's birthday, and my nan had passed away when I was using, and I thought, do you know what, I've got to... It's like... It's a sign, I've got to stay clean today. It's a sign. But I didn't tell anyone I'd relapsed, yeah? Till I was 20 months clean, right? And my thinking, in that 20 months, my thinking had got into the, I can't tell anyone now that I relapsed 20 months ago. So what I need to do is go and have a pipe, come back tomorrow, hands up, surrender, and start all over again. That's the madness of this illness and what my head, you know, what my head tells me. So anyway, 17th of March is my clean time birthday. And now I've just totally lost my trail of thought. So, yeah, and recovery's been kind of like that all the way through. I met someone when I was 30 days clean, ended up getting married. We had 3 children, and then we was together 21 years, and we split up 3 years ago. And if I'm really honest, I've had a lot of ups and downs in recovery, but that breakup was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. And I'd like to say, yes, I'm over it, but I can feel myself going. And it was my decision, and it was the right decision. But the mess after, the aftermath of it all, it's just like I'm one of these people that kind of sat in the shit for a long time because I don't like change. I didn't want that change, and I kind of plodded along, and throughout the relationship he'd move out and then come back, and for whatever, you know, and I knew, I would say for 3-4 years before we actually split up that I couldn't see myself getting old with him. I just couldn't see myself getting old with him. But for the kids, for this reason, for that reason, I stayed. And I remember my mum saying to me, "Are you happy? You never seem happy." And no one had ever asked me if I was happy. I kind of just plodded along and did what I had to do. And I thought that I was stressed because of work, or I was stressed because of the kids, or I was stressed because I had to manage a house. I wasn't happy. I didn't feel that contentment inside. And I knew I knew I had to make the decision. And in my head, I'd made the decision, but actually trusting that decision was difficult. And it was just it's kind of mad because I'd made the decision a long time before I put it into action. And it was just one thing. It was like, I can't do this no more. I'm done. And I just said to him, I'm done. I don't want to be with you anymore. There's no, you ain't got to move out. You can stay here. We'll manage the kids until I'll help you get a deposit, and we'll get a flat round the corner, and then we can manage the kids. The kids ain't got to make it, because my youngest was like 14, so they was 14, 15, and 16 at the time. So it was like kind of it was very real in their lives, And so I suppose I live in fantasy land a lot of the time, and I had this kind of fucking deluded thought that we would really manage and it'd be really okay, and we're both in recovery, we're both adult enough to be able to manage this, and it'll be fine. And for 2 weeks he slept in the front room, and it was all right. And then something happened, he went on the turn, and it wasn't fine. It became very unhealthy. It became very toxic. It was horrible. It was the worst thing I've ever gone through, because what happened for me was that I questioned. I overthink everything. Like most addicts, I overthink and fucking analyse. Someone sends me a text, I'm dissecting that text in fucking so many different ways that text could have been said. And anyway, so something happened and he moved out the next day, and it just went awful. It was awful. It just went really, really bad. I haven't spoke to my son now. He's the eldest one, who was 16 at the time. He's 20 now, and I haven't spoke to him for 3 years. And it still kills me. It's the most... when I came into recovery and I had children, my kids were my life. My kids were... I've got an older son that came through my using and fucking, saw horrendous stuff while I was using. And I vowed when I had these kids in recovery that they would never experience what my eldest son experienced. And I made every effort in my power to make sure that they fucking had that childhood that I never had. That one where the mum's on the swings fucking racing them on, like, who can go the highest. I'd done all that stuff with them, and I'm not lying. People that know me know that. And I never, in my head, I never saw this. I never saw this coming. So him not talking to me, it's been a real physical pain. It has been like, I just haven't experienced anything like it. And I've, like, I've gone round, he will fucking talk to me, I will sort this out. And I've kind of gone round that, he's lived with his dad for 3 years. I've gone round there to try and talk to him. He's blocked me on Facebook, he's blocked me on the phone. I can't WhatsApp, I've got no contact with him whatsoever. I've even got, one of my son's phones and one of the other boys' phones to phone, and then I've phoned him like, please Tom, just listen to me, can we just go and talk and go? And he's just like, fuck off. He's just so angry. And then I saw him at a friend's funeral, and I said to him, can we go outside and talk, Tom? And he went, get away from me. He went, you're nothing to me. And it honestly, it's like now, my mum lives in Spain, and every summer since they was kids, we go out to my mum's. So on Facebook, I get all the memories that come back, this time last year, or this time. And I look at those memories and I think, how has that happened? How have these kids, like, I just don't know about, and it's like I have let go now, and I've got to, you know, because I think the more I push my will onto it, I'm pushing him away. I have to trust the process. And as much as I know my higher power's looking after me, it's fucking hard to trust that process because he's my son, I'm his mum. I'm his mum. And I can't, you know, as much as some days I'm okay with it, and I know, like, you have to talk about it, but I'm all right when I'm not talking about it. And it is one of them where I can just bury it for a little while, where I haven't got to visit it, I haven't got to look at it. But it's always there. It's like, well, I've just come back from my mum's, my other, like, because I've also got a foster son as well, and I've had him for 5 years, so we're all out there. And, you know, I've bought a fucking paddle board. I am like a big kid, yeah, so I bought a paddle board. I'm out on this paddle board, and then I can see the kids fucking swimming out to me. So I think, they ain't fucking getting on my paddle board, so I'm trying to get faster and faster away from them. And, you know, they've caught up with me. We've had a laugh and that, and I just thought, where's Tommy? Tommy should be here amongst this, because it's not just mine and Tommy's relationship that's not. It's the boys are missing out on Tommy. Tommy should be at home with me. He should be living with his dad. He should be living with me. He should be sharing time with his brothers and going out. But he's just kind of, my mum didn't speak to him for 2 years. My sisters didn't speak to him for 2 years. It's like, that's not who we are as a family. We're a really close family, and it's affected everyone. My mum really misses him. My sisters really miss him. He has, in the last year, he's met my sister for lunch. My sister's had him round to hers for dinner. So I have to just trust that he's slowly coming back, and that there will be a time when hopefully he will talk to me. And I'm not saying that he's not talking to me for no reason. We had a fight, and you know, he was 17 at the time. He's come home drunk. The other boys were in bed asleep. I had work the next day. I've kind of jumped up, screaming and shouting, turned the fucking music off. He's puffed his chest out to me. I'm like, don't you fucking puffing your chest out? I've kind of pushed him back, and it's just escalated. And he was crying, I was crying. He's phoned his dad up to pick him up. His dad's picked him up and fucked off. Didn't come in and go, right, what the fucking hell's going on here? Like, fucking sort this out. And then 3 days later, I had social services on my door telling, just saying that I was an unfit mum and that I was a danger to my kids, which was absolute fucking bollocks. But, you know, I am still, I kind of say, oh, I've let go. I haven't. I am still very resentful towards my ex. I am, because I just can't, what I can't understand is why it got like this. Why did it have to get like this? You know, that argument I had with Tommy that night was no different from any other fucking time we've had arguments in that house, where sometimes my ex-husband's fucking going on at the boys, or might be me and Joe or me and Teddy. It was nothing out of the ordinary to any other time, you know. And that's what kind of, I don't know, I can't. Yeah, it is just like I have to let it go, because it just consumes it. When I get on that thinking around it, it just consumes my thinking. And yeah. I haven't got the answers. I don't know the answers. This is where I have to trust in my higher power. I have to let this go and trust the process. And I've done this throughout recovery. I've had to go through this process of trusting, and you know, the bigger, like, people would say at the time, oh, you know, there's a bigger picture. God's got a bit, you know, fuck off, fuck off. Don't want to hear it. But when I come out the other side and I see that bigger picture, oh, fucking hell, that's what it's all about. So I know I have to keep telling myself that this is happening for a reason. There's a reason this is all happening, and that's what keeps me sane. Whether I believe it sometimes or not, and I act as if I believe it, but I have to trust it because I've got fuck all else. I've got nothing else. I have to trust that it's going to be okay. And that's where, you know, my mum's very fucking... I love my mum, right? I do love my mum, but she don't get it. Well, you know, he can't be fucking talking to you like that. Yeah, well, I just wouldn't have nothing to do with him. And I just look at her and think, yeah, and that's what you've done with me. That, you know, and then that's like my resentment comes out towards my mum. And I think, you ain't got a fucking clue. I'm not like you. But I love her. I do love her and I am close with her. But there's fucking issues there. But, you know, and since this, you know, for 21 years in recovery, I'm NA, I do this program and that's it, don't need no one else. And I've had to kind of ask for help. I've had to get outside help and go into therapy. And I've had to do that, you know, whatever it takes for me to stay clean. That's what I've had to do. And for me, that's the best thing I've ever done, most lovingest thing I've ever done for myself, because I understand myself a lot more. I don't... It is what... You know, I hate that fucking word as well. It is what it is. Fuck off. But it is, you know. I can't change who I am. This is who I am. And I you know, I make mistakes. And if I recognise that, I can change that. I'm starting to understand a lot more about myself and why I behave and respond in certain ways to things, and it's been quite an eye opener, you know. And what I suppose what's come out of that is I don't give myself a hard time as much now. I understand myself a lot more. It doesn't change anything. It just helps me to understand myself a lot more. So. Today I'm letting go and trusting the process. Tomorrow, who knows? That's why we've only got today. I'll leave it there, thanks.
Thanks, Vicky.